Welcome to the Effortless English Show with the world's #1 English teacher, AJ Hoge, where AJ's more than 40 million students worldwide finally learn English once and for all, without the boring textbooks, classrooms, and grammar drills. Here's AJ with a quick piece to help you learn to speak fluent English effortlessly.
Hi, I'm AJ Hoge, the author of Effortless English. Learn to speak English like a native speaker. Effortless English, learn to speak English like a native. That's my book. You can get my book on Amazon.com. You can get my book on Kobo.com. Join my VIP program. Get my pronunciation course at effortlessenglishclub.com. effortlessenglishclub.com. Both. They're made to work together. VIP program, that's monthly training. The pronunciation course will get your fluency and your pronunciation up to a very high level, advanced level. They go together very well. At effortlessenglishclub.com. Join today at effortlessenglishclub.com. Happy New Year! The new year is here, 2019. Happy New Year to you. May you have a successful and very happy 2019. The old year is gone. Let it go. Let it go. I think, isn't there a song from a cartoon movie? Let it go. Right? One of those Disney princess movies. Let it go. Let the old year go. It's gone. It's done. It's time to bring yourself to this present moment and look forward to 2019. Think of it as a new start. Any problems you had in the past year, any mistakes, any failures, let them go. Let them go and commit, commit again to what is most important to you. Okay, that's the nice symbolic power of the new year. Of course, it's just the change in date, and nothing really changes, but we can use it as a symbol, right? We can use this changing from 2018 to 2019. We can use this as a symbol and give it some meaning. We do that with our minds. And the meaning we can give is a fresh start. It's a fresh start. It's a time to start again so that you can take a moment, take some days, take some weeks to, again, review your life, think about life in general, and again, refocus, remember what is most important. It's easy to get confused about this. It's easy to forget because our modern world is constantly sending us messages in the media, in the fake news, schools, just everything around us, advertising, everything, sending us messages to distract us, right? It's very easy to forget what's most important. You know, God, family, nation, things like that. Goodness, morality, character, values. Your most important goals. Character. It's easy to forget that and get distracted by all the easy distractions of movies and TV shows and all the drama on the fake news, media, and even just the drama and gossip in our lives of people we know, and the gossip and drama at where we work, or friends and family and whatever, right? It's very easy to get distracted by all these things. It's easy also to get distracted by smaller things that seem more urgent, right? It means smaller problems, but we need to solve them now. We need to deal with them now. So all the little small things that pop up all the time and you feel like, I got to deal with this now. I got to do something about it now. That's another thing that can distract us, pull us away from what's most important. Sometimes those things that are most important, they're less urgent. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about this idea with the book. In fact, our book club, the next chapter, is very much focused on this idea of urgency. Urgency means something. It's like something that has a very short time need. In other words, something that you need to deal with right now. I'll give you just a very simple example. Let's imagine that you are in your kitchen. You have some milk, and you drop the milk. Boom! It goes everywhere. It's all over your kitchen floor, covering your whole kitchen floor. The milk is everywhere. Now, is that deeply, deeply important, this milk problem? Will it completely change your life if you solve this milk problem? The problem of the milk on your floor. No, it's not deep. It's not super important. It's not going to change your life in some huge way. But it is urgent. It's urgent, meaning you have to deal with it right now, right? It's kind of a little emergency. It's a small emergency, a very small one, but it is urgent, right? Because you can't wait. If you let the milk sit on your floor for days, several days, it's going to start to smell bad, and it's going to create many, many worse problems. So it's urgent. You have to clean it right now, right? It feels urgent. Oh, I got to deal with this. I have to clean this up right now. It's very urgent. But it's not really deep or meaningful or important. Can you see the difference? And see, the challenge in life sometimes is, many times, in fact, the things that are most important, most meaningful for our happiness, for truth, for goodness, many times these things do not feel urgent. It's easy to push them to the side. It's easy to wait, to say, I can do that later, right? Because you have something that seems more urgent. And some people, their whole day is filled with these little small urgent things. Sometimes their whole week, sometimes their whole life gets filled up by all these little things that seem so urgent, right? They seem like, I got to do them now. I got to do this now. I got to do that now. And this is people who are really, really, really busy, but they're busy doing things that are not very important. In short term, maybe we all have days like that. But if that becomes a habit, if that's most of your day or most of your days, if that's most of your weeks, most of your months, most of your life, then you end up with a very busy life that has no meaning, no purpose, and eventually really not much happiness. And we're going to talk about it this weekend with the book club, but basically, we have to be sure that we make enough time every day, every week, and every month for the deeper things, the things that are very important for the long term, for our happiness, for morality, for goodness, all those things. They may not feel urgent right now, but they're very, very important. And so sometimes we have to schedule those things. Sometimes we have to ignore things which seem urgent. So we have to find a way to get less busy so that we can focus enough time on those deeper, more important things, right? And this time of year is a good time to do that. Right at the beginning of the new year is a very nice time, symbolically. It's a good time to stop, to slow down. Especially because most people around the world at this time of year, they usually get some vacation time. It's kind of Christians get Christmas. Almost everybody gets some kind of New Year holiday. And so that New Year holiday is a really good time to think about things and think, okay, what in my life is truly important? Not necessarily urgent. It might not be urgent. It might not need to be done right now, immediately, but for your long-term happiness and health and goodness, and for your families also. What's most important? It's a good time to look at those things, and then to look at your life and think, am I doing enough? Am I spending enough time, enough energy on the deeper things like character? Or am I getting distracted too much by the urgent things, the shallow things? Don't feel sad about it, but it's a good time to think about that. You've been doing that, right? In parts 1 and 2, at the end of the year, we looked back at 2018 and we kind of decided this. And then now we're looking forward. And this is the next and final step, which is to identify those most important things. And then today we're going to talk about taking action, because it's not enough just to dream. It's not enough just to make goals. You have to have a plan. You have to have a system, a daily system, really, so that you're taking action. Because mostly these things that are important, they require consistent action, right? They take a lot of steps. Big goals, you can't usually do them in one day or 1 week. They often take, many weeks, sometimes many years. Some of them never end. They're lifelong. For example, character, to be a better person, a really good person, a truly moral and good person. Well, that's a kind of a never-ending thing until you become a saint or a Buddha or something, which most of us never manage to do, and at least in one lifetime. So unless you do that, it's a never-ending process. You can always get better. You can always become more patient. You can always become more generous. You can always become wiser. You can always become stronger. You can always become more courageous. You can always learn more. So it's never-ending. That means that it's something you have to do every day, every week, every month, and every year. And you need to plan for that. You have to make a system, a plan. Basically, you make a habit. You make it a habit to focus on these most important things. So let's talk about that now. In part 1 of our New Year's show series, you focused on your dreams and your vision. You actually first you focused on gratitude and last year, all the good things that happened. The next step, you focused on your dreams and your visions for your life. Then, in the last show, you connected that to character and purpose and values and priorities, right? Those deeper things. And today we're going to talk about creating the systems, the action plans, so that you take action and you do it. You really will do these things. You make the vision become reality. You make that character, that better, stronger character and purpose and values become real inside yourself and in the outside world too. In your behavior, in your actions, in your thoughts, in who you are. And I like the word systems. You create a system. A system is like an organized action plan. It's an organized way of doing something. A system. Basically, it's a specific process. It's a specific process. It's the how. It's how you do it. It's the habits, the specific actions that you create over and over, again and again and again. Right? An action is a one-time thing. Let's say you have a big goal to make your English like a native speaker. You want to speak, very, very fluently with great pronunciation, very, very high level of English speaking. You could take action. One day, you could listen to VIP lessons for 10 hours in one day. That's a strong action. That's a very big action. That's great. But it's not a system. Why? Because it's only one day. Even though that's very great, that's a strong, powerful action, 10 hours in one day, The problem is it's only one day. That's not enough. You know that. One day is not enough to achieve that high level of success that you want. A system is something you do every single day, right? A system might be, okay, I'm going to listen to the VIP lessons when I wake up in the morning. I'll turn them on and I'll listen as I make my breakfast. Then I'm going to put on my headphones, and while I drive to work or school or take a train, I'm going to listen again, and that's another 30 or 40 minutes. And then when I'm coming home from work or school, I'll do it again. That's another 30 or 40 minutes. And then I'll do, 30 minutes after dinner, and then, right before bed, I'll listen again. And I'm going to listen to the same lessons, the same audios in one lesson set, one lesson unit. I'll repeat them every day for 14 days so that I really learn deeply and master the program. And I'll get the pronunciation course too, and I'll do that 20 minutes per day as well. See, that's a system. That's something you're doing it every single day. That's much more powerful than just strong action one time. Or this is the problem. See, a lot of people do this with New Year's resolutions. This is the big problem. They get very excited about their dream and their vision. They make a very specific goal. That's great. And sometimes some people even take a strong action, maybe one day, maybe for a couple weeks. Big strong actions, because they're really excited and there's a lot of emotion and energy in the beginning. But then what happens? Then they start to get a little tired. The emotion drops. The beginning excitement goes away. And then they stop taking action. And then they don't get the results. They don't achieve the results. They don't really improve much. It's just a short little strong action or strong actions for a short time, and then nothing. See, the problem is they didn't make a system. A system is something, it's just a daily habit. You just do it every day. A system, the good thing about a system, when it becomes a real habit, it does not require super powerful emotion all the time. I mean, think, to use a very basic example, brushing your teeth, right? Hopefully you brush your teeth every day. Do you need a lot of emotion to do that? No, you just do it. Do you need a lot of energy to do that? Nope, you just do it. It's just a habit. You do it. You do it every night, maybe every morning, maybe after every meal. You do it, and it's done. It doesn't matter how you feel. You just do it. If you have a job, it's the same thing. You go to your job. It's just a habit. It's a system, right? It's a system for making money for you and maybe your family. In fact, a lot of people don't even like their jobs. So then the emotion is actually negative. They really, their motivation is not good. But they still go because they know they need the money. So they go. It's a habit. It's a system. And so every day they just get up and they go. They don't need to be excited about it. They still do it anyway because it's a system, an economic system. That's the powerful thing about having a good system. The emotion's great, the enthusiasm's good, and you definitely want to have that as much as you can. But we all know that there are just some days, sometimes there's some months, where your energy drops, where your enthusiasm's lower. But if you have a good system, good habits, it doesn't matter because you'll still continue to take those actions, do the work anyway, and therefore you'll still get the good results. So building these systems, these habits is very, 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 very important. It's super important for achieving what you want to achieve. Now, I'll give you another example from my own life with exercise. The most successful exercise I do for my fitness, definitely the best system I have, is walking. Now, I do other exercises. There are many different kinds of exercises I have done in the past that I sometimes do now and that I may do in the future. But they kind of come and go more. But the one that is just a constant system. It never really changes for me is walking. I walk every single day. And when I say I walk, I mean at least an hour a day minimum. So even when I'm lazy, even when I'm tired, even when my motivation for fitness is low, sometimes gone, even if I'm kind of sick a little bit, I still walk. So that is for me personally, that is my very best, my most reliable system for fitness. So it's a great example. Now, I do other things. I do push-ups, I do pull-ups, I do other things. But those things do require a little more motivation for me, a little more energy. I have a pretty good system for body weight exercises. But, sometimes I do them a little less. I'm kind of lazier, more tired, sometimes for many months. And other times for many months, I'll be much more energetic about that kind of stuff. Calisthenics, body weight. In other times in the past, I've been a runner, and I've actually done some long distance running, like marathon level length of running. But right now, I'm not running at all. So that kind of comes and goes sometimes. It's great exercise, but I have this basic system that never fails me, and that's walking. So those are the best systems, the ones that become such deep habits that they require almost no energy, that they become super automatic and you just do them every single day. You don't even think about it, really. It's just so automatic. It's such an automatic system, such an automatic habit that really you don't even need motivation to do it anymore. It's just so automatic. It takes time to create that power, that automatic habit, but it's worth it. You really want to do this. Certainly you want to do this with your English. Since obviously I know you want to achieve a very high level of English. It's great to have strong motivation, be excited. All of those things are fantastic. They're really good. But even more important is just to have such an automatic system that English is part of your life. You almost don't even think about it anymore. It's so automatic. Listening an hour a day to English, maybe even just to this podcast. Or listening to, an hour a day of your VIP lessons, or 2 hours a day. Always listening to English when you're on a bus or on a train or driving. Or relaxing at night. Whatever it is, you have to make this yourself. You decide yourself. But you make it into such a powerful automatic habit that it really doesn't require motivation. It doesn't even require enthusiasm. It's just, you're just going to do it every day, like brushing your teeth, like going for a walk, like going to your job, like taking care of your kids, like eating. It's a basic part of your life. It's so automatic. That's going to give you super results. After a year of doing that, after 2 or 3 years of doing that, your English will be such a high level, you won't even realize it. It'll be so automatic, you won't even think about it. It's just a habit. And then suddenly, a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, you're speaking at a super high level. Other people are telling you, wow, your English is really good. What happened? Well, you have a system. You have a system. Another way to think of systems, it's a training system, right? It's training like an athlete. I always like to use those physical examples, like an athlete, right? So a golfer, a professional golfer, or just a serious golfer, even someone who's just a hobby, but they really want to improve. They will have a golf practice system or a golf training system. What does that mean? Well, it means a professional golfer every day will go out to what's called a range. They'll go out to an area and they'll hit golf balls. Every single day they'll do this. They practice their golfing swing. And they might use, different clubs. They might do different kinds of swings. But they'll do it every single day. Some of them might have a time limit, like, okay, I'll practice an hour every single day at a certain time. Others, maybe it's a certain number of swings. They'll do 300 swings or 500 swings or 1,000 swings. It's a system just like brushing their teeth. They don't really even think about it much. They just do it every day. It's automatic. So it's like a training plan. And all athletes do this. All good ones. Another part of having a system, it's a habit, and it's also scheduled. This is an important part, what makes something a system, why it's different than just action, is that it's scheduled and planned. So it's organized, scheduled, and planned. Action, sometimes people who take action, they decide every day, and they do something a little different every day. Right? So they wake up in the morning, they have a lot of energy, so they go do it, and they take some strong action. And then the next day, then they take action, they do something different. And then the next day, they do something else that is a little different. So it's not organized. There's not a good organized plan. And some people just do it whenever they have time. So, they'll practice in the morning one day, and then the next day, they'll do it in the afternoon. And then another day, they'll try to do it in the evening. And maybe they do this for a while, but again, they get busy sometimes, and then the habit dies. Because it's not planned, it's not scheduled, it's not organized. This is what you need to create a real system, a habitual, that's the adjective, habitual. A habitual system, meaning a system you do all the time, every day. You need to have it needs to be scheduled. It needs to be at the same time every day, ideally. That's the perfect situation. And it needs to be organized. You need to know exactly what you're going to do, not just do whatever. You don't decide every day. You already know. I mentioned again my fitness. I have a system I'm following. Right now I'm following the Convict Conditioning book. It's a book about body weight exercises for strength, like push-ups and pull-ups, things like that. Just using your body. And there's several plans, several systems in that book, and I'm following one specific one. It's called Veterano. He calls it, the writer calls it Veterano. But it's a schedule, right? On this day, do this exercise and do this many. And then on the next day, do a different exercise and do this many. So there's a specific number of exercises to do each day, planned and scheduled. There's a certain number, right? I'm not just doing, if I'm doing push-ups, I'm not just doing a random number of push-ups. I write down how many did I do last week. I have a target. Each time I do push-ups, I have a target. I'm trying to do a certain number. It's the same with pull-ups. It's the same with... I use kettlebells. One day I do kettlebells. So it's a plan, right? It's a very specific plan. So each day I know exactly when I'm going to do it and what I'm going to do and how many. And so it should be the same with your English. Don't just listen to English whenever. It's fine when you have extra time, listen to English also then, but you should also have a plan. You need a system so you know, okay, each day I know at what time I'm going to listen to English. I know how many minutes or hours I will listen. I know what I'm going to listen to, which audios. And this is why, the VIP program, all my courses, they're systems, right? I tell you exactly, here are the audios, listen to them for the next 7 days or the next 14 days, right? You need to listen for at least 1 hour, but if you can, do 2 hours per day. So you know exactly what to do, how many hours, which audios. It's a very clear, organized system. This is training. So, what are you going to do this year? And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about New Year's. We're talking about resolutions. You chose your top 3. So let's create a system for each one. Let's do it. So what you need to do, you need to look at each of those goals you have. Maybe one of them is English. Maybe one of them is your health and fitness. Maybe one of them is about money, for example. So you'll take the first one, English, and you need to decide what is your daily, very important, every single day, daily training plan. What are you going to do? How many minutes will you do it each day? Right? How many minutes every single day? And also, what activity are you going to do? For your English, for example, are you going to focus on listening mostly? That's what I recommend for most people. Now, for those who are quite advanced, you can add in some reading books. So if you're more advanced, maybe you have to decide, okay, I'm going to do 1 hour of listening per day and 30 minutes of reading, for example. Or maybe you decide, I'm going to listen to English 2 hours per day. You have to decide, but you pick a specific amount of time and pick your specific actions. I'm going to focus on listening. And that's still too general. You need to be more specific. What are you going to listen to every day? Okay, I'll listen to AJ's podcast. That's about an hour a day. And I will listen to VIP lessons for an hour. That will give me 2 hours total per day. For example, right? That's an example, what you could do. So now that gives you a daily training plan. Your basic activities, daily. So important. Things that are very important, do them every day. Okay, the next thing you do that for all your goals. You have 3 goals, so each one needs that daily plan of actions. The next step, you need to decide on a progression. What does that mean? What it means is that for most things you're learning or training, you won't do the same every single month. It's going to change. As you get better, as you improve, you need to adjust, you need to change. For example, again with the push-ups, right? Let's say if I'm starting to do push-ups. I want to get stronger. Well, maybe in the beginning, I decide I'm going to do 10 push-ups 3 times per week. I can only do 10 right now. But I don't want to continue doing 10 forever, right? Because then I'm never going to get a big improvement. So I have to decide, okay, well, how am I going to progress? So I might decide, okay, well, then in the second month, I'll add 5 push-ups. So in the second month, I'll do 15 each day. And then the next month, I'll add 5 more. I'll do 20, right? It's a progression. So basically, every month, I'll add 5 push-ups per day, per set. So you start at 10, then the next month 15, the next month 20, the next month 25, 30, right? And you just keep going up. That's going to get you stronger and stronger and stronger, and more stamina. A running example for marathon training, a really basic, really good marathon training for new marathon runners is that you have 1 long run per week. Let's say Sunday. So every Sunday you do your long run. The other days you have a basic run, maybe 3 miles. But then once per week, usually on the weekend, let's say Sunday, you do a long run. That's okay. That gives you your basic plan. That's your basic training plan. Great. Well, now we're working on step 2, the progression. Well, how do you make it more difficult? How do you make it get better and better and better? Well, then what you do is every Sunday add 10 minutes to your run. So let's say this Sunday you run 30 minutes. Next Sunday you'll run 40. The next one you'll run 50. And the next one you'll run 60. Right? Every week your long run goes up by 1. It's progressing. Progressing means moving forward. And you'll keep going. You'll keep adding 10 minutes until you're up to your goal, 4 hours or 5 hours, whatever you're trying to do. You could do this with your English. So maybe in the beginning you start with 1 hour per day of English. But maybe 2. Maybe you have 1 day a week where you have a lot of extra time. Maybe Sundays. So you could make Sunday your big English day. Your long English day. And again, you could say, okay, on Sundays, every Sunday I'll add 10 minutes of listening. So you do 1 hour, you'll do 70 minutes this Sunday, and then the next one you'll do 80 minutes, and then 90 minutes, right? And it'll keep going up until Sunday is like a full day of English. The whole day is only English. You could do something like that. Or you could decide that every month you'll add 5 minutes per day to your listening. to your VIP lesson listening, right? So maybe you start by just doing an hour a day, and then next month you do an hour and 5 minutes. After that, you do an hour and 10 minutes. The next month after that, an hour and 15 minutes. So then your daily listening would grow and grow and grow through the year. So that's your progression. That's how you decide your progression. You can have a weekly progression, so every week you increase or make it harder or improve it or do more. Or you could do monthly progressions where every month you add something or make it a little more difficult or do more. Do that for each of your goals, each of your plans now. You have your plan, your daily plan, then you decide on the progression. Okay, finally, the last part for your resolutions, your action plan, your system. The last thing is you must schedule it. Seems obvious, but you need to schedule an exact time each day for this plan, for this training. It might be several times during the day. I mentioned with English, you can do it a few times in the day. You might have some time in the morning you schedule. You might have your travel time in a car or train or bus. And you might have in the evening. Or you might listen while you're making dinner, whatever it is. But you schedule it, you decide it, write it down, a schedule. Same with exercise. Some people love to exercise early in the morning. They get up at 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning and they run and they work out. Other people prefer evening. They like to work out more at night or in the evening, maybe before dinner. I'm kind of a late morning, early afternoon person. I kind of like to do it before lunch. I usually will eat breakfast and then relax a little bit. And then I usually will do exercise, meaning like calisthenics, push-ups and pull-ups and things. I'll do usually between breakfast and lunch. That's my favorite time. It doesn't matter. There's no right answer. It's just whatever you want to do and when you have the free time. And also, there might be some days when you can do more. I mentioned like with running, you can have your long run day. Or with English, you could have your long English day. Right? So you might have a day or even a couple days where you have extra time for your goal. That's fine too. Just schedule it. Put it on a calendar. Put it on your phone calendar or your computer calendar or paper calendar. But that's a very important part of this system is to make that habit. You need that same time again and again and again. So you're just used to doing it. One of the reasons walking is so easy for me, it's such a strong habit, is that I walk home from working every day. It's just part of my travel, really. So I always do that. I go to coffee shops and I do work. And sometimes I'll take a train in the morning because I want to start working faster. I don't want to waste time walking there. But I always walk back. It's part of my daily life. That's why it's such a good habit. So this is why you have to schedule it. You just make it this part of your daily life, and that's how it becomes more automatic. And as it becomes more automatic, as each of these systems become automatic, then motivation is less important. You just do them automatically even when you're not motivated. That's what's so great about this. It does not require you to be excited every single day about it. It does not require you to be super motivated every day to do it. In the beginning, when you're creating this system, when you're creating the habits, yes, you do need that extra energy. That's why we did the dream and the vision and the enthusiasm, because you need that in the beginning especially. Those first few steps, building the habit, creating the system, it does require more energy. So you do need it a lot at the beginning. But as you build the habit, as it becomes part of your everyday life, you need less and less motivation, enthusiasm, and energy. It just becomes automatic. Like brushing your teeth, like going for a walk, like going to work, like eating lunch or something. Just a part of your life. Powerful. That's when you get the real powerful results. So I want you, with English, to make it part of your life, to build these systems. And this is why I created the VIP program, my pronunciation course. And for people who are more like a middle intermediate level, maybe a little lower, Power English, and the lowest level is original course. But I created the courses because they're a system. I mean, you can just listen to stuff on your own and find lots of different things yourself. Some people do that. They're very organized and super motivated, and that's great, and they do get success with that. That's fine. That's why I wrote my book. My book describes exactly how to make that kind of independent plan for you. Do it yourself. You can certainly do that if you want to. If you're super poor or something, great. Go ahead and do it. I hope you're successful. But the reason people get my VIP lessons, the reason people join my VIP program and they stay members for months and months and years, is because it's such an easy, organized system. So it's easy to get the habit. They get the lessons. Every 15 days, they get new audios. They know exactly what to listen to. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to plan. They know exactly what to do. All they need to do is schedule it for each day. That's all they have to do. Everything else is already part of a system. The more you have an organized, planned system, the less motivation you need, the less energy you need every day, which is good. Very good. So that's why I have the VIP program. That's why I have the pronunciation course. They're organized. They're planned. I did all that work for you. I already planned it out. I already organized it. It already has a progression. All you need to do is schedule it for each day. That's all you have to do. You only have to do that one step. So that's why it's a powerful system. You want to do this for each one of your goals. So if you have a fitness and health goal, once again, you need to create it into a system. Again, it's kind of a joke. You'll even see it in TV and stuff, and comedians talk about it, of people who decide at the beginning of the year, I'm going to get in shape, I'm going to lose weight, rah! And then they go out and they really do take action. They go out, they join a gym, or they start running, and they'll go run. They do too much, right? They go out, they run for an hour, and they're sweating and they're miserable. And the next day, they're in pain and their muscles hurt so much, and but they're still motivated. They're gonna lose weight, so they go out the next day and they go run again, maybe just for an hour again, and they're sweating and all this pain, and then the third day, now they're really, really hurting. And they go do it again, maybe 30 minutes, but each day it's getting harder. They're actually taking action too much because they're not organized, they're not thinking about it. They only have enthusiasm. So they're not doing this in an intelligent way, in an organized way. There's no progression, right? From starting small and easy and then getting harder and harder and bigger. They're not thinking. They're not planning. They're not making it a system. And so what happens is usually, what happens? Number one, many times they get injured. They do too much. So, finally day 4, they go run. Their knee is hurt. And then what happens? Then they have to stop. They can't run now. I have a knee injury. My knee is hurt. So then they just sit around and they go back to their old habit of being lazy, of not doing any exercise at all. And then it's gone. That's it. They fail. They never make any improvement. They don't lose weight. Or if they don't get injured, the problem is they just get more and more tired. Their muscles hurt more and more each day. They're doing too much. They have a really bad plan. And finally, one day they're just too tired. They're just exhausted. They're tired and their muscles hurt and they have no motivation anymore. The motivation's gone. The enthusiasm's gone. And they don't do it. So then they don't go run that day. And then the next day they don't. And then the next day they don't. No habit, no plan, no system. And again, they just stop. They go back to the old ways, lazy, and they never lose weight. They never make any improvements. It's very, very, very common. You will see this a lot. So a lot of people, when they talk about goals and things, they talk about action. But action's not enough, right? In fact, sometimes action is actually bad. If you do too much action too fast, too soon, it can actually cause problems, all right? We can see it with exercise. You can actually get injured, okay? You actually hurt your long-term plan. If you're in bad shape, if you're fat, if you're weak, that's okay. But you actually don't want to go out and do too much. That's actually a bad idea because you're going to hurt yourself or make yourself too tired. What you need is a smart plan. You actually want to start with just a little bit, a little more than you're doing now, not too much. But then you're going to increase that, right? Week by week or month by month. This nice, organized plan that becomes a habit. It's a daily system that has a progression that gradually gets tougher, gradually gets more, gradually gets better and better and better. That's the best way to achieve any important goal. That's also true for your character. Let's say you're not a patient person. I'm not very patient. So you want to improve your patience. Well, you could try to immediately have total and complete patience, like a monk, like a Buddhist monk. But, the truth is, if you're really, really, really not patient, it's probably going to be very tough for you to just suddenly become super, super patient. I mean, it's a nice idea to take huge action in the beginning, but again, like with your physical body, probably you'll become exhausted and tired and it just won't work. Much better is to have a plan. So maybe one little thing in your life that you get impatient about, maybe with children, let's say. And so you just decide, okay, I'm going to wait. If I'm getting impatient with my children, I'm going to wait 1 more minute before I say something. I'm going to wait 1 more minute before I get upset, right? I'm going to take 10 deep breaths, something like that. Just some kind of plan that's organized. And then you might say, the next month I'll take 15 breaths, then 20 breaths, right? Then 30 breaths. And gradually you get more and more and more calm. You're building it with a plan. So this is good for English, this is good for exercise, this is good for health, it's good for, your character, for your internal habits, your thoughts, all of that. And finally, of course, the very last step of all, start now. After you do all of this, you have your system, you have your progressions, you're very clear what you're going to do, you have a schedule, you know exactly when you're going to do it. Start today or start tomorrow if it's nighttime. If it's nighttime, start tomorrow. If it's morning right now, start immediately. Don't wait, right? This is another thing people do. Next week I'll start. Or it's Saturday and they'll say, I'll start on Monday. No. You start right now. If it's important, if you have your plan, there's no reason to wait. This kind of pushing it down till later, it's just a tactic to avoid it. It's a bad thing to do. I have a family member who does this with weight, about losing weight. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to start a diet, but I'm going to start it on Monday. Right? It's Friday, let's say. I'll start it on Monday. Like, well, why Monday? Why not start it today? Well, why, oh no, because I want to, right? It's an excuse. So then what happens? What do they do? Well, then on Saturday and Sunday, they eat a bunch of terrible food, and they're still right back into this habit of eating sugary food, for example. And so what happens when Monday comes? Well, they just keep on with the bad habit. So no, once you decide, once you have your system, once everything is clear, there's no waiting. You start immediately right now. You make it part of your life starting now. If you decided you're going to join my VIP program, you're going to do that system every day, start now, today. Go to effortlessenglishclub.com. That's why every show I say, go to effortlessenglishclub.com. I'm encouraging you to start now, not, next week, next month, next year. Right? That's what everybody does. Not just about VIP, I'm not just trying to push VIP. I mean everything. People do this all the time with exercise. I'll start my exercise program next week. Why? You're just being lazy. No, you start it today. If you decide you're going to do push-ups every day, get down right now when this show is over, turn off your phone or iPod, and get down and do some push-ups. What are you waiting for? Well, why do you have to wait till tomorrow? You got a floor? Just do them. If you decide you're going to walk every day for 30 minutes, well, why aren't you walking right now? You should be listening to me and walking at the same time. Get out the door. Go put your shoes on. If it's cold, put on your clothes and go outside and do it now. If it's nighttime, well, so what? You can walk at night. I walk at night all the time. There's no excuse. You don't have to wait. No, I'll do it later. No, you start right now. This is the final step, and you've got to just get started. The first step is often the most difficult one, so do it immediately. The longer you wait for the first step, then the more difficult it seems. It starts to feel bigger and bigger. It's easier to avoid it. It's the same reason when people talk about starting a business and, oh, well, I'm thinking about starting a business, but first I have to write a 50-page business plan and, hopefully next year. And I say, no. Start it now. Start your business right now. Forget the 50-page business plan. You don't need it. It's just an excuse to avoid doing it because you're afraid. Start it today. Start your business right now. It might be super, super tiny and small, very, very simple, maybe not very good, but at least you're starting. Then you make it better and better and better, and you grow it and you learn all of that. But you got to get started. Nothing happens until you start. So start now. All right, we're going to have a great 2019, and this is why. Because you're going to start now, and you are going to do this daily system for each of these big 3 important goals in your life. And I promise you, you are going to make big improvements. And these are the 3, remember, these are the things that are most important to you, the things that will give you the best long-term happiness and success. So powerful, so important. Go now to effortlessenglishclub.com. Join my VIP program today at effortlessenglishclub.com. Get that pronunciation course too today at effortlessenglishclub.com, effortlessenglishclub.com.